2021, with an expected completion date of November 2022. Payment amounting to Kenya shillings 33,121,000 of the second allocation now 200 has been made to the
Kataboi College. So what you are saying is in this 33 million that has been made, and this 76 million that has been made, was it made to the same company? And is it because I've had your director, or is it the director of finance department, CC Finance? So it means, Chair, over 100 million as it has been paid to an existing project. And then, Governor, what do you mean by 72% of completion level? And Governor, in this project, because you have said it's 72%, is there a projection of completion date? And do you think if it is completed, will it still give value? I know the money has gone way up, but they say, there is a saying that says, is it an end to itself or a means to an end? So do you think, because you have said 72%, is the project ongoing and it is complete, will it give value to the intended purpose, although it is overpriced? And EACC, Chair, I don't know, because since you are still investigating, is it fair, how many years from 2014, 2015, to still investigate a matter and no arrest or charge or a plea has been made? You know, you are making counties look bad. So what is, my classmate, what can you say at this point? I know I was with your bosses, and Chair, through you, we expressed a lot of frustrations. Don't you think it is important that somebody be charged? Let the accountability of this money that was lost be made? Then even, can you imagine that company might be given a tender in Homa Bay and they do something, or in Nandi, or in Taita, or in Kitui? Would it be better that you charge so that it is even blacklisted, so that any other entity does not give them tender, Chair? So what can you tell the people of Turkana, because that is our only hope?
So the Chair, although some of these contracts were entered into in 2015-16, they were investigations commenced only 1 or 2 years ago. So it does not necessarily follow that we've been investigating since 2015, just to clarify.
Yeah, so I think this matter is in your matrix, as was shared by the leadership of the institution when they appeared before this committee. Governor, in your own admission, money was paid to deliver a project, it was not delivered, another contract was executed to deliver the same project. That's, on the face of it, theft of public resources. This matter, I think, rightfully belongs to the EACC, but Auditor General, you must continue raising this matter until it is resolved by way of prosecution. Don't drop it.
Well noted, Chair.
Yeah, because if you drop it, then we'll not be able to come back to it in subsequent audit cycles.
Maybe, Governor, you had said 72%. Is the project ongoing? Have you allocated budgetary? Maybe you can just go on record, so that as prosecution happens, even if prosecution, at least the value for that project, maybe Governor can indicate whether it stopped. Are you still financing it? What happens?
Is it a white elephant, or is it something you're completing?
finance. Let me.
Honorable Chair, just confirm to the committee, as it stands, the project is stalled at this point, so we've not allocated any more money.
So there is criminality, there is also value for money. You know, both attributes, lawfulness and effectiveness, have been violated in this case.
Chair, just maybe for clarification, this project is at 72% completion, do we need the project? Because if we need the project just to salvage the money, even if the money has been lost, the remaining works are drilling a borehole and purchase of installation of a generator, something that would cost about 20 million. Isn't it then prudent to just continue, because ESCC has not told you not to complete the project? So are you considering just completing the project so that then the people can at least get some value for money, Governor?
Okay, I think your recommendations have always been that we complete those projects that were constructed during the other government, including even the county headquarters, the residents. So the people of Lexo are not really seeing this as the issue of ecology as their priority. They are making different recommendations that because it has not even built to the status of an ecology. So they are asking the county if that can be changed into a TVET or a polytechnic. That is now the people on the ground what they are recommending. So as we thought it will be prudent, we make our own now final decision following now the recommendation of the people, because I think people have the first say in the constitution. So as we see there is viability to continue the project instead of just leaving it like that. I think in the processes of having budgets, we will put some money to really continue completing, putting the ball, and then we now change it to a polytechnic, because we have another institution that is doing very well for IT. So they're saying we put that one to become a polytechnic. It will enhance or support the other one.
Honorable members, let's proceed to the other big elephant in the room, the Turkana County Headquarters building. This one, OAG, it will be important for you to read your findings, even though they are lengthy, but every paragraph is a smoking gun.
Thank you, Chair. Delay in completion of Turkana County Headquarters building. The statement of receipts and payments reflects acquisition of assets balance of Kenya shillings 2,465,247,617, which includes construction of buildings amount of Kenya shillings 439,858,419 as disclosed in Note 9 to the financial statements. The amount of Kenya shillings 439,858,419 includes contract variation amount of Kenya shillings 156,562,939, comprising of cost escalation and interest charges paid to construction firm for the construction of Governor's office. As reported previously, for construction of the Governor's office was awarded to a company at the contract sum of Kenya shillings 695,854,432. The contract was signed in May 2015 for contract period of 36 months. The contract commencement date was 15th May 2015 with an expected completion date of 30th June 2017. The project has been given 3 new completion dates, the third being 30th June 2019. Further, letter dated 4th June 2020 granted the contractor a further extension to 31st December 2020. The contract sum of Kenya shillings 695,854,432 included provision of contingent amount of Kenya shillings at 73,400,000 in respect of purchase and installation of lifts, air conditioning, plumbing, builders work connection, electoral works, and project managers expenses and project managers stationery. However, all these have been contracted by the county executive. A company was subcontracted for supply, delivery, installation, testing, and commissioning of 3 lifts at a contract sum of 29,497,845, the contract agreement was signed on 17 January 2018. The county government had paid a total of shillings 32,447,629 during the year. However, payment of shillings 32,447,629 exceeded contract sum of shillings 29,497,845 by shillings 2,949,784, which is not supported by approved contract variation. The lifts have not been tested and commissioned. Another firm was subcontracted for the supply, installation and commissioning of air conditioning in county headquarters at a contract sum of shillings 82,588,770. During the year, the company was paid shillings 14,085,657, although the air conditioners are yet to be installed. Contract agreement, performance bond, record of payments to the contractors, and monthly project progress reports were not provided for audit review. Fiscal inspection of the project on 17 November 2023 revealed that although the contractor was on site, the project was not yet complete and put into intended use. Lift testing and commissioning, carpeting, electrical and plumbing works, and power connection, all of undetermined amount were still pending. Another fiscal inspection carried out on the project on 27 August 2024 revealed that although the contractor was on site, the project was not yet complete and put into intended use. Lift testing and commissioning, carpeting, electrical and plumbing works, and power connection, all of undetermined amount, were ongoing and yet to be completed. In the circumstances, the county was likely to lose funds through contract variations, interest charges, and cost escalations, and the value for money had not been received on the expenditure already incurred. Thank you, Chair.
Governor?
I think implementation status, the project is complete and handed over the county government by the main contractor. The management has appointed an ad hoc committee to oversee the furnishing and commissioning of the headquarters building. You refer to Annex 21.
How many millions later?
Yeah, too much.
What's the total cost? What's the total cost? Before we come back to the details, because we will not run away from the details by saying the project is complete. There are a lot of violations in that report. Can someone tell us how much has been spent to deliver this?
I think it was 900, eh? 800. Just say the exact figure.
How much? That officer can come here so that whoever has the information, where the sergeant at arms is standing. Do you have the information, or you are still working it out? Because the original contract was 695 million. Six.
No, it says the contract sum was 695,854,432, included provisional contingency amount of 73,400,000.
So let's start from there. So the original contract sum 695. You have said the building is complete. How much has been spent, so that we can see whether it has been completed within the budgeted amount?
I think CC Finance will. They're still calculating, yeah, viewers.
Secondly, is it under your administration that the tender for electricals were done?
Not under my regime.
Because that is a second violation where you have just read that there was a provisional sum of 73.4 million for electricals, and yet the county went ahead and issued fresh tenders and contracts for items that had already been captured in the original contract. Is that the right interpretation?
Let me just give it to the person in charge of procurement to give us an elaborate, because he was there.
I think I've interacted with this gentleman. He's very detailed. Today, I don't want stories. I just want to know if there was 73.4 as a provisional contingency amount for electricals, installation of lifts, air conditioning. Why did the county go ahead to contract 2 other firms to provide a service that had already been built into the original contract?
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. The 695 million.
Your name for record purposes.
I'm Samson Nakito. Samson Nakito, Director, Supply Chain Management Services.
Okay.
Okay, in the original sum of 695 million, it included some subcontractors. But eventually, when they reviewed the BQs of the subcontracts, they found that what was put there initially was too low because it needed more money. So what they did was only they got the main contractor and the 2 subcontractors. Because the AC, if you see the AC, the amount of money for the air conditioning in that provision was, I think, if I'm not wrong, 12 million. But eventually 108 units of ACs, I think costed like 82 million.
Director.
Yes, sir.
73.4 million in the original contract of 2014. Was that sufficient for electricals, lifts, etc. as at 2014?
No, it was not sufficient. It was not sufficient because there were only 2 lifts. They added the 3rd one. The variation, the extra variation of the lift came, there were now 3 lifts. Initial BQ had only 2 lifts.
Did you read this audit report? You know, you can tell the story and explain something, but the question is, if 73.4 had been included for purchase and installation of lifts, air conditioning, plumbing, etc., then the county went ahead and contracted those services to other firms. That is the illegality that the Auditor General has pointed out here. And those firms, one of them, which was to provide lifts, was even paid in excess, was paid 32 million instead of 29 million. You are providing an explanation and a story. As a professional, is that the right thing to do?
Okay, maybe to expound how the procurement process was carried. They found that it was above 25% what was required for those services. They advertised separately out of this main contract. So they sourced the other subcontractors separate from the initial advertisement.
And there are correspondences to support that?
Yes.
Professional opinions
yes.
and all
yes.
that?
Yes.
There's missing information there because
Senator Wambo?
then it's true, it's okay. If then you realize that the variations will overshoot 25%, then you decide to advertise for a new contract. What happens to the 73 million? Because it had been part of the provisions for the lifts. And you are saying the lifts initially were 2, then a 3rd one was included. So if 73 was sufficient for the 2 lifts, why did you then sign a new contract for 3 lifts instead of 1?
I think, maybe to clarify on that, the amount which was provided for the 2 lifts were not even enough. They were not enough. So they had also to come and re-advertise. They advertised for another tender for the person to supply the lifts, because the initial amount provided in the 695 could not have helped them maybe procure.
So was the new contract less the 73?
Yes.
The 73.
So only the two subcontractors who are in the main contract of the 695 million were only the plumbing work and the electrical work.
Yeah, I want to understand. Make us understand these things. So if it was less 73, but these are two different contracts, how was contractor B, who came in after the variation, how was he supposed to get the 73 from the first contractor who had already signed the contract?
The two contractors they were part of the main contractor. They were not contracted separately. They were subcontractors in the main contract. And now we have like 7 subcontractors, of which some small portions were put into that contract, of which we found that 3 million, because the contract was signed in 2015. The implementation of the project was 2017. Then there was a price issue, fluctuation. So we had to come and prepare tender documents for the other 6 subcontractors separately, away from the 2 subcontractors and the main contractor.
There's something I'm not getting, Chair.
Let me add something.
That the main contract sum was 695 million. For everything. And embedded in it, there are all these installations like lifts, air conditioning, plumbing, and everything.
73.4.
Why did you choose to go for a new contract? Yet there was already an original contract embedding all these other things like lifts, air conditioning, and plumbing. Why did you go for new contracts? Yet there was already a big contract embedding all those small things. Number 2, even if there was variation of tender to give 82 million variation, still 82 million by 695, that is 11%, still within the 25%. Why didn't you just do variation of tender here? Unless I'm not getting something.
I think, Governor, the auditors came and asked questions. I am sure this gentleman was present. After listening to all the stories, the auditors reported to the Senate that in their view, those 2 contracts were not necessary because they were part of the 73 million provisional sum. I don't know whether at this point we should be re-auditing this matter. At this point, we should just be giving directions that this is a clear illegality, and these gentlemen can go and explain these matters at Integrity Center in the presence of investigators. But let me hear from Senator Cherargei.
Chair, it is interesting that Turkana has a lot of problems, including challenges of food security, development, and many. Chair, to me, reading this horror is a clear rip-off of public money, which is hard done. This was a clear, pure, classical theft. That in fact, we should not be wasting time listening to stories. The ESCC should have arrested the people concerned like yesterday, because spending 695 million, including 74.4 million, another 82 million, others were being overpaid. This is a clear public theft of our resources, Chair. And remember, even when we did the 4th basis, we added similar amount to Turkana County, similar amount. So in fact, in my own assessment, as the good gentlemen are trying to tally up the money, this is one of the most expensive county headquarters I've encountered on planet Earth, because it looks like it's approaching $1 billion plus. Yet you have had, Chair, that the governor says the handing over just happened the other day for function. So, Chair, I think, in my own opinion, this matter, the ESCC have taken too long. Unless they are untouchables, unless the ESCC fears something that we don't fear, the people concerned, because, Chair, if you look even the way the contract has been drafted, inclusive contingency liabilities of lifts, air conditioning, plumbing, builders work, connection, electrical works, and project managers' expenses. And project managers' stationery, that is pens and photocopies and what have you, they decided to add 73.4 million. They came and imagine, and if there's, and I don't know the procurement, you, Chair, maybe the gentleman that you know, is he registered with any organization? Because if you have given out the main contract and you have subcontracted, the PMF Act is very clear on the issue of variation. You don't just say, and you know government has a way of operating, Governor, where you give out a contract. If there are variation, there is a certain limit, should not be over, is it 25% of the PMF Act? Then that variation should have been provided to the OAG so that it becomes easy. And Governor, if you, maybe just finally, Chair, you have said the office has been handed over. Are you using the offices? Because in your earlier statement, and that was the reason, Chair, was asking, in the minutes of the cabinet, that you are doing your cabinet meeting at Bethany Guest House. So does it mean this building has been handed over, but we are not using it? Because even if the investigations are ongoing, the people of Turkana might at least get value, although it is overpriced. So Chair, I think, as Governor answers on the functionality and operation, and tell us, because you are the user, whether these lifts are there, are they like the ones for Bunga Towers that normally freeze? We don't know where they got them. Chair.
Order, Senator.
Chair, you saw the windows falling down the other day in this.
You have made very good points, but they'll be drowned in the
Chair,
last
but
part.
I'm the user. That's why I can give experience of Bunga Towers, because I am asking him a question so that we don't leave it even to AG. The lifts, the air conditioning, all those things, are they functional so that at least the user, the consumer?
You do recall when we visited Turkana, we were told that the ACs had been paid for, but there was no electricity to test them. You remember that one? Yeah. So I mean, as you said, it's a public report. Senator Gatai?
I've reason to direct the procurement. I think there's a lot of literature in his presentation. Governor, your team is not serving well. Actually, if you look at the whole issue here, there's a lot of rip-off. It's pure fraud. I think you can better go back and try to establish exactly what happened to, because I don't think whether there were any procedure followed to make sure that some of these procurement procedures were followed. Correct. So I think your team is relatively failing you. We don't want to make a declaration. Maybe the chair would just make that declaration, but I think that saga is just pure literature, nothing tangible. Maybe somebody can pick from what the director of commerce just alluded to.
And our expectation from professionals, especially those who subscribe to professional bodies and certain body of knowledge with a code of ethics, is that you have a responsibility to advise the governor, the county, and the entire nation, not just on lawfulness, but also effectiveness and prudence in the use of public resources. So our professional, I think I noticed him when we were in Turkana, because he gave us a very detailed presentation. It is not just about defending something because it complied with a section of the Procurement Act. You must also ask yourself, was this effective? Was this prudent? And from the face of it, even if there was anything lawful about these new contracts, it cannot be effective, it cannot be prudent. Have your officers computed the total cost?
Yeah.
How much?
I think they have submitted the total amount that has been paid is 740 million, 724 and 13.73 Kenya shillings.
How much is outstanding as pending bills?
It has entirely been paid. And then some information that is very important to the honorable members is that the devolution committee of the Senate also came to Turkana County. And it facilitated the meeting between the county because the contractor was still writing some letters wanting extra payments of a lot of millions of money. I had to request them now to intervene so that we we see how best, because it was like, it's difficult for us to get into that building. So that Senate committee facilitated the meeting, and it told the contractor to hand over the contract to Turkana County, because the county has already paid him more than he
But
needed.
does that deal with the claims that the contractor is making? Because
It cleared all those things were
your
not cleared.
attorney next to you will tell you that a resolution of parliament cannot overrun a civil matter.
Yeah, and I think the committee helped a lot, because the contractor now agreed to throw away all those other claims, and he accepted to hand over the building to Turkana County, so that the remaining works, including the electricity, it will now become our mandate as the current government to finish the remaining small
What would be
works.
the total cost to completion? 740 has already been paid?
This is what has been paid during the previous, but currently
No,
for
we want to get the total cost.
What is the total cost?
Because we are suspecting it's approaching 1 billion.
It cannot go to from our end. What is it?
Because you still have carpeting, plumbing, etc. Of undetermined amounts. That's what the Auditor General says.
The contractor has already done the carpeting for about 2 offices.
What is the total cost to completion, Governor?
Honorable Chair, the total cost for the project is 897,416,662.07.
That is, if you look at the original contract sum of 695,
Electricals, kuna plumbing, structure, cabling, CCTV and all that.
200 million more. Governor, is it that Turkana receives too much money?
No.
that it can just be spent like that? I think, Senator, Chairman, the first time we met, when I was really giving my disclaimer on the same, and then the recommendation you are giving, it was that what should you now do with this building? You need to go ahead and finish the electricals and do other things. So we said the contractor should do the carpeting and many other things he had left, so that we get into the electricals and also ensuring that the machine that put there is properly connected. That's what we have done. The electricals are now ongoing with the team here. I think we have completed the electrical and even supply of water from the aquifer to the entire building, so that we operationalize the building as the committees really directed, that we must get into that new building, so that we don't continue using the Bethanies and the other buildings.
Chair,
Senator?
I wish my question was answered. You know, the original contract sum was 695 million. But within it, there was 73 million for installation of lifts, air conditioning, plumbing, builders work connection and so on, and electrical works. Now, this 73 million was not used for these works, if that is what I'm understanding. There was an extra amount contracted outside these works. Now I'm asking this. Was this 73 million originally meant for purchase of lifts, air conditioning and plumbing and so on, taken in because of loss of time and inflation? Because then, Chair, we need reworking of that BQ. So that we say the original cost was 695 million, but because of loss of time, prices have gone up, and this is how the prices escalated, and so that the 73 million was swallowed by the price increase. I think we need a reworking of the tender document so that you can see what swallowed the money. So much so that another 82 million and the other monies that we are getting, the 200 million also, was used for the extra works.
I think I think that was what the procurement team that used to be there, because I'm unable really to link all these many figures. That's why I was giving it the procurement director to really give us the position.
Our concern was that in his explanation, he was trying to whitewash the process. And that's why I said professionals have a responsibility to advise where something is not done properly, then we just say it as it is. And I think, members, this is why we refer this matter to EACC. And it's in your list. So again, the concern is that it's taking quite some time for things that seem to be quite clear as being violations of the law.
Yeah, we need to go back to Turkana. I think we need to go back there anytime soon.
Chair, and I want to ask through your indulgence, I saw the schedule of the EACC when they appeared. I think the Vice Chair and we were present. I want to ask that such matters should be expeditiously dealt with, so that we protect the gains of devolution. It doesn't make sense that 4 trillion shillings have been given from 2023 to now to all counties, yet Turkana has more pressing issues than spending on this building. I think if this money was used prudently, Turkana should have gotten a better deal from this. And I think, Chair, maybe in future, I don't know what the Senate can do. We had extended to counties that did not build their county headquarters. I think like we did to the speakers and governors' residence, there should be a limit of even coming up with county headquarters, because it doesn't look very decent and very good. Chair, and I want to request that let this be finished and encourage. Also, we went there, the location of county headquarters should be where Wananchi should go. We visited Machakos the other day through another committee of ICT. From where the governor's office and the town is, the ordinary Wananchi cannot walk. It is around 2-3 kilometers. So I hope we'll visit and see the functionality of the office.
So OAG, again, this is a matter that will be subject to your scrutiny in this financial year. The EACC already has a file, but please keep bringing it up, because it's a clear violation of all the principles of public finance. What about the governor's residence? Governor, is there good news that you have moved in? At least the headquarters, you are saying you have moved in. What about the residents? You are still drawing the illegal housing allowance?
That one is still in the original position as the members saw it the last time they visited.
So, Auditor, can you just highlight the issue? Because when we say it, people might accuse us of inventing our own things. That 120 million was paid for a building at foundation level, but it's here in your report. So can you be the one to say it? Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. As previously reported, the County Executive of Turkana and the local construction company signed a contract for construction of governor's residence. The contract works include the construction of one-story residential house and erecting a perimeter wall. From the records provided, the contractor received payments amounting to cash shillings 120,500,965 during the year ended 30 June 2015. However, no documentation was provided on the contract agreement, the actual measured works, total payments made, and what became of the contract that made a new contractor to be sought. The new contract for completion of governor's residence was awarded to another holdings company, filed open for the completion of governor's residence at the contract sum of shillings 90,563,900. The contract was signed on 24th April 2019 for a contract period of 52 weeks with the expected completion date of 24th May 2020. The contractor filed a letter dated 31st March 2020 addressed to Project Manager, Minister of Roads, Transport, Housing and Public Works, requested for contract extension for a further 52 weeks from the date of the letter, indicating that as at 19th November 2019, the client had not issued the work drawings and the subcontractors for specialized works were yet to be procured. The request was granted on 31st October 2021 through letter dated 3rd April 2020. The APA Insurance extended the performance bond to 31st October 2021. Since the elapse of this extension, there is no evidence of any further extension of the contract period nor termination of the contract. By 16th November 2021, certified works amounting to shilling 17,917,599, which had not been paid as at the time of audit in November 2023. Arising from this debt, the contractor through letter, there is a reference there, dated 16th November 2021, and addressed to the project manager, Minister of Roads, Transport, Housing and Public Works, gave notice of stoppage of works on account of the outstanding amount. And advisory by the county attorney filed a letter dated 28th September 2021 to the Chief Officer, Office of the Governor, advising manager to pay the contractor for works done had not been responded to. Further, the following observations were made. At the preliminary evaluation stage, it was mandatory requirement that all pages of both original and copy of tender documents must be sequentially serialized. However, the contractor submitted documents that were not sequentially serialized and should have been disqualified. In the technical evaluation stage, the pass mark was 6 marks and the firm was awarded 6 marks, yet the firm had not submitted mandatory tender documents such as reference, recommendation letters, evidence of contract supply of goods, and a letter of commitment confirming duration of time to deliver goods from time of receipt of LPO, and therefore the firm should not have proceeded to the financial evaluation stage. Management did not hold any negotiation with the company, despite the evaluated price being more than the budgeted amount of by Kenya shillings 563,900. The additional purchase orders number 12 with the 3 dated 30th March 2022 for Kenya shillings 2,327,540 and number 1640 were issued on 2nd June 2023 for a total Kenya shillings 14,514,000 after the expiry of the contract period and the performance bond. Project inspection on 14th November 2023 revealed that the project was incomplete and the contractor was not on site. Proving works and other finishing works had not been done. The amount of Kenya shillings 17,917,599 due to the contractor was not included in the pending bills for the year ended 30 June 2023. Expenditure on the project has so far exceeded the limit of Kenya shillings 45 million set by Salaries and Elimination Commission, and no evidence was provided of approval to continue spending on the project. The governor and his deputy regularly earned Kenya shillings 2,280,000 as housing allowance after the period for such allowance being paid was 30 June 2022. A fiscal project verification exercise done on 27th August 2024 revealed that the contractor was on site, but no works were ongoing. Management did not provide explanation on why the contractor had stopped the work on the project. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, it's a very long finding, so I just want us to be efficient because we have dealt with this in prior years. From the first paragraph of the Auditor General, for the 120 million, the county paid 120 million to the first contractor. Is that confirmed as a fact?
Maybe County Attorney, you confirm that as a fact?
Is it confirmed that the first contractor was paid 120 million?
Maybe you ask.
The Chief Officer for Office of the Governor, who is the client, kindly confirm.
Chair, my name is Zeteleji Korea Moses, Chief Officer of the Governor. On this issue of the 120,965 shillings, we could not be able to verify with the documents because we cannot be able to get the documents.
But the auditor says from the records provided, the contractor received payment amounting to 120 million. How can the Auditor General have more records than you? Let's be serious. Was the and you know, Governor, you told us this when we were in Lodwar. Why are your people running away from this question? Is it a fact that on the first contract, 120 million was paid to deliver a residence for the governor? Chief Officer.
We need to wait the engineer. The engineer Kopeto, where is he? Just call Kopeto.
Because with 120 million, surely if you are paid to deliver a house, that should be a complete house with a swimming pool and a jacuzzi and everything.
State-of-the-art residence. That's like State House.
And yet when we were in Lord Governor, I don't know why you don't want to deal with this matter, because back then at physical verification, 120 million was paid for a house at foundation level.
And Chair, for your information, when we visited with your committee to Ziwa Hospital, we went and found that 95 million has been paid for Ziwa Sub-County Hospital Phase 1 up to foundation, then Phase 2 was built on it, yet 95 million. So it's a classical case where 120 million has been paid to something that does not exist.
So why is this
Chair,
afraid to deal with this question?
What bothers me is what the Chief Officer said. When you say you cannot trace the paperwork, and the Auditor General is saying that they relied on your documents to make this conclusion. So you're saying that the office of the Auditor General cooks these documents, or where did they get the documents from? Because they're the client. Where did they get the documents from? Chair, that's those are the times that I agree with Senator Cherargei. Maybe these guys be put on oath.
Engineer Kopeto is here. Let's give him, because the engineers can give us maybe
all the questions so that he can answer together.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Chair, I have tried to tabulate the entire amount that this house should be worth more than 224 million. If my including the performance bond, the other extras, should be around more than 220 million.
Almost $2 million.
Also $2 million. Imagining a house of 220 plus million for us who are built before is a huge, it's almost 5-story building somewhere in Nairobi CBD. So, and this, you know what shocks me, Chair? The SRC and Ministry of Public Works have said the maximum a governor's house should cost is 45 million. So these are like 60 houses or six governors' mansionette that should be built with 220 million plus. So, Chair, from my observation, this was just money that was eaten. Ilikulwa, like the mzee who said in Eldoret that this one ilikulwa too. So, Chair, I request, because we don't want to waste much of the time, is just the EACC to arrest these people. They have stolen. This money was just stolen. And I think Turkana County has more important projects, that including the irrigation schemes that the governor has mentioned of 220 million. So my question finally, Chair, I have seen in most of the responses, Governor has said in his response that there are a number, he has appointed Project Implementation Status Committee. So Governor, from the 2 projects, in your own estimation, did you do what we call project verification audits? And do you have a global figure, including Kaitaboy Eco Lodge? We have seen the county headquarters of Turkana. We have seen now the governor's headquarters, governor's residence, and many other projects. Can you, since you form a project implementation committee, can you give us a global view of maybe the likelihood of how much has been lost in terms of projects that are yet to be realized in Turkana County? Because I thought that should have pricked your conscience when you assume office. look at these projects that are yet, including irrigation schemes and many others, that are yet to be completed? Did you think of maybe doing an audit so that you can just guide the committee? I thank you, Chair.
So before the response to that, I'm a bit worried that this very simple question is being tossed from the governor to the attorney to the chief officer to the engineer, and I don't know why. Yet you have made presentations previously on this particular matter. So, engineer, was 120 million paid to the first contractor?
I'm Copeto Ignatius. Thank you, Honorable Chair. For now, I cannot confirm whether 120 million was paid because I've not gone through the documents.
So, Governor, why did you think this gentleman would be useful?
Let me attempt to answer this question myself now as governor. Based on...
As we are a very odd subject. I mean, everybody's running away from it. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I expect them to be the people. I think, Honorable Chair, the contract for the construction of governor's residence was awarded in the financial year 2013-2014 to a local contractor. The contractor did some work and abandoned the site, which necessitated quantification of the remaining works and retendering in the financial year 2018-2019. A second local contractor won the bid and a contract was signed on 24th April 2019. Upon signing the contractor was unable to commence building works because the project manager could not provide the drawings and designs. The project manager cited refusal to release the drawings and designs by the architect consultant hired in the previous contract. The reason why the consultant could not release the drawings was because of unpaid pending bills for his consultancy services. The contractor was later able to commence the works on 31st October 2021 after he was provided with the drawings and designs.
Governor, that is your written response. We can refer to it.
Yeah.
But it still does not answer the question that we asked.
There was, Chair, some enumerated, which was not supported by the vouchers or anything, figures of 120 shillings have been paid to the contractor.
So 120 million was paid to the contractor.
To the contractor.
If it was not for work done, then it's simply money laundering. Because what was delivered for 120 million before termination? Yeah. What was delivered?
In terms of the...
Yes. Okay. What is it that someone could see basis for the payment of the 120 million?
Okay, in fact, we have the accountants, the enumerated figures that are not supported by document. This is what was paid this time.
The Governor, I think the Chair is asking a very
we move from the engineer to the accountant.
The Chair is asking, after 120 million shillings was paid, what could you show for it? What is it that was done in terms of the building? What did you see?
What could be seen with the naked eye?
I don't know, Chair, whether we visited the same building.
Yes, we were there.
That is exactly
and
what
you answered this question in Lodwar.
Yeah.
I want you to answer it in Nairobi.
Yeah, that is the structure you saw is what was.
Chair, I was not in Lodwar. I want to know what it is that you saw.
For the benefit of Senator Wambua. That's why I've asked that question
Senator
again.
Wambua, I think based on what I have also seen, there is some skeleton structure that has been fully paid, but 90 million again Kenya shillings was awarded to another contractor. But the builder, that skeleton is just the way the chair and the members. So though there isn't anything big to really warrant.
So 120 million shillings is paid. You see some structure. Then another 90 million is paid, and the structure is just the same. Is that what you are saying, Governor?
Definitely. That is,
that-
90,
Yes.
14 again was paid, 14 million.
Another 14 after 90.
A new contractor.
Oh,
And the governor still has no residence.
There is no sign of residence.
no, Chair, there's a remark you made,
And maybe,
which may have sounded very light. But why do I get the feeling that maybe Turkana receives too much money? I mean, just money to play around with, including even keeping 100 million in an account, and be just okay. 120 million shillings on a structure that.
Yeah. Have you built all the hospitals you need and all the ECD centers that you need? That now you can spend 220 million in an incomplete governor's residence?
Chair.
Senator Maroon.
From on page 32 of this document, titled "Further, the following observations were made." Bullet 4 states that additional purchase orders number 1283 dated 30th March 2022 for Kenya shillings 2,327,540 and number 1640 were issued on 2nd June 2023 for a total of 14,514,160 after the expiry of the contract period and the performance bond. Now the response I'm seeing here is that the county government paid Kenya shillings 14,514,160 in financial year 2023-2024, being work certified. Which works were certified? Because if you're just seeing a building, a structure, which further work was done after 2022, which then was paid for 14 million.
Governor, looks like payments are happening under your watch.
The new contractor who was awarded a contract of 90 million got into that site and now made requests of payments. So when we came in, he was really
just
on
for
us.
order so that don't continue.
Yeah.
In your management response on page 33, you are saying that a second local contractor won the bid and a contract was signed on 24th April 2019. Upon signing the contractor was unable to commence building works because the project manager could not provide the drawings and designs. The project manager cited refusal to release the drawings and designs by the architect consultant. When were they released to warrant these further works that you are alluding to?
I think down there, you resumed, it's indicated in October. You resumed your, from what I read.
Why is that? In your response?
The last, okay, the reason why the consultant could not release the drawings, blah, blah, and then able to commence the works on 31st October 2021 after he was provided with the drawings and design. There is something like that down there. Yeah.
Honorable members, it is 3 o'clock. This matter is also in the list of issues being pursued by EACC. When we were in Lodwar, we visited with great disappointment. And I think, as Senator Cherargei had said earlier, EACC, you owe the nation some update. 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting where you presented the issues that you are dealing with, but Kenyans are more concerned about action. It's not just about listing the issues. And if you just read the mood of the delegation that is here, no one wants to commit on certain matters. I hope it is not because you're accomplices, and I hope it is not because someone is threatening you not to talk about these matters. Let's take the burden away from these officers. EACC, you've got the mandate, you've got the instruments to ensure that there's justice on this matter. But it is a sad story. It is a sad story. It is part of the things that make devolution look bad. And we've been trying very hard to convince our brothers in the National Assembly that counties need more money. But they keep referring to cases like this. as evidence that counties are underfunded and counties are mismanaged. Governor, we take note that some of these things happened before you went to the county, but 3 years later, it is now your duty to clean up and ensure that these things do not become white elephants when a lot of public funds are being put in. I believe if 120 million was paid to somebody and nothing was delivered, really, unless the money was paid in cash. But if it was paid through the bank systems, then it's easy to know who got the money and what happened to the money. And perhaps we need to have this conversation around recovery of assets. If assets are recovered as a result of some of these settlements that we are now seeing, should that money remain at the consolidated fund, or should that money go back to the entity that lost it? You know, in the case of Migori, where there was a settlement where the former governor surrendered certain assets, the people of Migori are saying that money should come back to us so that it can buy drugs and do the things that it was intended to do. So we hope we can recover some of these monies from the crooks and let that money come to Turkana to do what it was intended to do in the first place. We have a number of projects in this report. It will be difficult for us to go through them sitting in Nairobi. We had planned to come to Turkana about a month or so ago, but due to various other reasons, we did not come to Turkana. Honorable members, I want to propose that looking at the time and looking at the number of other stalled projects that are in this report, we've got a project implementation status where 216 projects were reviewed and 86 projects were still ongoing. This would be an opportunity for us to go back to Turkana and not just assess the situation of the projects, but also find ways of advising the county. I think sitting here, sometimes we soak in a lot of information from other counties and experiences from other counties. So we can do a visit to Turkana, project visits, but also capacity building. I think we need to have a conversation with the county assembly so that we encourage them and strengthen them to play their primary oversight role. Governor, when Senate came to Lodwar, I hope that there were some things that you learned or some things that you picked. So we'll not be tired, we'll not tire. People think that Lodwar is too far, but it's a 1 hour flight. I want to propose, honorable members, that the residual matters we can deal with at a physical visit in Turkana County. If that then is the case, then we bring this meeting to a close. We deal with closing remarks, if any. Auditor General, are you getting good cooperation from the entity?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I would say, except for historical matters, as you have seen for yourself, on the current matters, we are getting very good cooperation from the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any matter from the members of the committee? If that is the case, then I'll ask the governor to make his closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think I want to say thank you to you, the Chair, and the honorable members. You've really been very supportive. I think when you visited Turkana together, we saw many things. As the county government, both the executive and the assembly, we were able to learn a number of things. So I think all your recommendations as a county, we take them seriously. And we have challenges on the past things, but because we are government, we are also getting hold of those things so that we are able to really reply a few Senate directives. And I think as Turkana County, you need, when you come to Turkana, you don't have to fly. Requesting that you drive along the road from Nairobi here or elsewhere to Turkana County, so that you are able.
Kainuk is okay now?
Yeah, whether it's okay or not, Chair. You need to interface with.
He's trying to discourage us from going.
Thank you, Chair. I think I am just extremely very happy. We are according the Office of the Auditor General the necessary support when they come. We provide documentation, except when documents are not there. Sometimes it's a reality. Some documents can miss, majorly on all those past projects. The Office of the EACC have really been coming to Turkana County. They have not really met any other issues with Turkana. They do their job, they come back, and I think we are okay with the entire partnership. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you. We'll close, and I want to encourage your team to be a team. I'm noticing that everyone is running their small fiefdom, and so information is not integrated very well. That sometimes happens when you have inherited a staff complement, but it's 3 years now. I think the team should settle. Whereas the governor takes political responsibility, takes ultimate responsibility as a CEO, we will not hesitate to identify and name individual officers whom we think have performed below what the law requires. And particularly those who belong to certain regulated professions, the advocates, the accountants, the human resource managers, the procurement managers. There are many instances here that will require us to escalate matters to the professional bodies for professional sanctions. So I just want to request the team that has accompanied the governor that yes, when we make recommendations, largely we will be condemning the CEO, but you will also not escape individual accountability and individual responsibility. There are many issues in Turkana. We have spoken about this over and over again, and we hope that when we come to the ground, it will not just be a grilling session, but it will be a knowledge sharing and experience sharing session. So we'll make arrangements, we'll alert you of the dates for proposed visit. Auditor General, I know that you are probably on the ground already on audit issues, so we'll tie it appropriately so that you are also available and it does not interfere with your audit schedule. The meeting is adjourned and we shall meet on notice on Monday. Thank you. Wish you a safe journey back to Turkana.